Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very random video. Now this has been sent to me a couple of times, literally within the last 24 hours, just asking me to react to it. So I've just clicked on it today and I'm going to do that for you. So it's a Josh Snares video. I have reacted to a lot of Josh's videos before with regards to the rankings of episodes per Doctor. I've probably done other stuff, but this was a long time ago. And this just says, the 5 Doctors original concept unearthed now. I have obviously only seen the classic era once. I'm doing a rewatch with my fiance, which I'm just loving. And I know that there was a lot of criticism around the 5 Doctors regarding the story. I was just in so much shock as to what was happening. If you said to me, Marie-Clare, what was the storyline? I would say, I don't know. But the 3rd Doctor came back and I was shocked to the core. So this will be interesting. So the 4th Doctor didn't appear in it. I cannot remember the reasoning. I think he just didn't want to. I'm not sure if at that point his relationship with Doctor Who was great. I don't know. I can't remember. I know you guys have told me. So it will be interesting to see what this original concept was. Is it going to be frustrating that this original concept would have been better than what we got? I love what we got because we had the 3rd Doctor and Sarah Jane and Bessie. So for me, like, my boxes were ticked, but let's see what it could have been.
The 5 Doctors is one of the most cherished anniversary specials in Doctor Who's history, featuring returning companions, monsters, and the titular 5 Doctors. Well, kind of. 3 real Doctors, 1 shown in archive footage, and an imposter Hartnell. But originally, the 5 Doctors was to be the 6 Doctors, and written by one of Classic Who's most beloved writers, Robert Holmes.
Oh.
Today, we'll take an
6 Doctors
look at this unmade anniversary adventure and discover why it didn't make it to our screens. Doctor Who's producer, John Nathan Turner, wanted to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the show in a similar vein to 1973's The 3 Doctors. The 3 Doctors was the first multi-Doctor story the show had ever seen, and brought the first 2 Doctors back to the show and faced against the insane Time Lord Omega. After some discussion, Nathan Turner was informed by the BBC One controller that instead of delaying the broadcast of the season, they instead could have a one-off hour-long special just for the anniversary.
Right.
To pen this juggernaut of a story, script editor Eric Sayward suggested Robert Holmes. Holmes was an obvious choice, having once script edited for the show in the past and had a proven track record of hits.
Oh my God,
During their
such
first
good
meeting,
stories.
Eric Sayward and Nathan Turner explained their vision for the special. Not only would Holmes have to incorporate all the Doctors returning, but also his travelling companions and a plethora of monsters. Holmes reportedly found the entire premise ridiculous.
Oh no.
Holmes wasn't the type of writer who was very enthusiastic about fan service and was more excited by telling darker and satirical stories. He was also clearly frustrated by the amount of inclusions he had to incorporate into the plot.
Oh no.
Which, to be fair, he's right to be annoyed about. How can you fit all of those elements into 1 hour?
1 hour, yeah.
And also tell a real story?
Yeah.
It seemed like an impossible task.
You don't want it to be
and
gimmicky.
Maybe Holmes just wasn't the right person to write this type of story. Although he had his reservations, he left the meeting and developed an idea of how the story could work.
Stop it.
On Maladoon, the 1st Doctor and Susan are walking through the foggy planet.
Stop it.
But they are not what they seem. They are cyborgs created by the Cybermen. Holmes thought this would be a great way to get around the 1st Doctor not looking like William Hartnell.
Yeah.
There is a time fissure on Maladoon, and the first 4 Doctors' TARDISes are drawn through it. The Fourth Doctor deduces that in order to create this time fissure, someone must have stolen the power of the Time Lords. The Doctor and his friends are all captured by the Master, who is working for the Cybermen. The Cybermen take the Second Doctor and extract his Time Lord DNA in order to create a new race of Cybermen, the Cyberlords.
Stop it.
Yet, the experiment doesn't work, as the Third Doctor overthrows the Cybermen and they all escape. As they're escaping, the First Doctor is discovered to be a fake, and they throw him off a cliff. No, seriously. When Jamie McCrimmon discovers that Susan is also a robot, he is heartbroken because he developed a crush on her.
Stop it.
The Doctor and his friends discover the Master's TARDIS, which has been powering the time fissure, and destroy it before it destroys the universe. The Doctors say goodbye and return to their rightful place in time and space. To Eric Sayward, it became clear that Robert Holmes wasn't overly excited about writing this story. He then turned to yet another Doctor Who writer legend, Terrance Dicks, to pen the story as a backup. Holmes submitted a few script pages on the 13th of October and apologised that he could not finish the scripts as he was commissioned to write. Sayward was unsurprised, but disappointed, but offered Holmes the chance to write something in the future that was more in his area of expertise. Holmes stated in an interview in 1985 that, "They said, in fact, would I like to write the death of the Doctor? And I said yes. Firstly, because I'd not written for Peter Davison, and secondly, because everyone knows that this is the last story, and so you have that kind of inbuilt drama." That story would end up to become The Caves of Androzani, which is one of the fans' most beloved stories written by Robert Holmes.
Yeah.
Now that Holmes was out of the picture, Sayward gave the green light to Terrance Dicks, who would go on to write The Five Doctors as it was transmitted.
Okay.
The Five Doctors is my all-time favourite anniversary special. I've always used it as like a gateway drug for converting new series fans into classic series fans, because it's the perfect taster. It's only an hour long and features the first five Doctors, kind of, and you get a small idea of how each of the Doctors act. For example, if the new fan enjoys Pertwee's performance in The Five Doctors, I'd say, try Spearhead from Space and see how you go. And for the seasoned fan who has seen every story a million times, The Five Doctors is just a nice rush of nostalgia to see all your favourites reunited together in a fluffy fan story. I find it difficult to imagine a universe where the Five Doctors doesn't exist as it does today. But the concept of the Six Doctors is something that has always interested me, especially to William Hartnell's wife, who was still alive at the time. I personally think it sounds incredibly camp and fun, but then again, I'm not William Hartnell's wife. Or am I? I think it's interesting that a lot of the ideas in this outline come to pass in future episodes. The Master working alongside the Cybermen is a massive precursor to their many collaborations in the new series, not to mention the Cyberlords being used by Chris Chibnall during The Timeless Children. I wonder if Chris Chibnall was inspired by this outline.
God, yeah.
And if so, it seems that the show, even to this day, is still milking ideas from long ago. It's also nice imagining a multi-Doctor story where Tom Baker returned to the role in 1983. When Nathan Turner first contacted Baker's agent, they were sure that he wouldn't be interested in returning. Yet, Tom Baker did have a few meetings with John Nathan Turner, where he was excited by the idea of reuniting with Elizabeth Sladen, who played Sarah Jane Smith. He just wanted to see a script before signing on. Eventually, though, Tom Baker changed his mind and decided not to appear in the anniversary special. I sometimes wonder how those short years would have changed Tom Baker's performance. Tom's characterization changed so much throughout every season he was in, depending on who he was travelling with. His Doctor seemed to align himself with them. With Sarah Jane, he was your best mate. With Leela, he was a stubborn educator. And with Romana, they were academic jokers. And with Adric, well, he was just kind of a bit of a knob, really. How would have he been alongside the other doctors? I guess we'll
Pompous,
never
I
know.
think.
Unless, of course, Big Finish decides to adapt the Six Doctors into an audio venture, that is. Would the Six Doctors ended up as the beloved classic that the Five Doctors eventually became? It's hard to tell. Could Holmes really grasp that level of fan references and toy box-like storytelling that Dix mastered? The Five Doctors, by all accounts, should not work. Yet it does. Maybe that is a testament to Terrance Dick's writing ability, someone who always gets the work done. Then again, Holmes did get a chance to write a multi-doctor story for the Sixth Doctor titled The Two Doctors, which faced a similar premise. Holmes was asked to incorporate two doctors, the Sontarans, and set it in Seville. It's not the most beloved story, but it might give us an insight into the type of multi-doctor adventure he could have written for the 20th anniversary. Personally, I think the Five Doctors is the best outcome for the 20th anniversary. And the Six Doctors is a nice and interesting footnote in the history of Doctor Who. So, what do you think of the original concept for the Five Doctors? Would you prefer the Six Doctors or the Five Doctors? Let me know in the comments.
That's a big question, Josh.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Josh Snares YouTube channel.
You see, when videos like that are made, I'm so grateful for what we've got. But the way Josh sold me the Six Doctors, I want to see that. Sorry. I love, I said it before, I really like the Five Doctors. When I watch it a second time, I don't know. It will be interesting going back through the classic era and seeing how I'm reacting the second time round to things. Kind of like Josh, I'm so grateful we have the Five Doctors, and I think for what it was, bearing in mind the issues they faced, I think it's remarkable. I imagine potentially if you're a massive Tom Baker fan, you would have been disappointed. But as someone who is like a Third Doctor stan and Second Doctor, I was very, very happy. This idea of the Six Doctors though, I don't know what it is, but I love it when there's like a robot involved or an android who's trying to be someone else. I just think it's such a clever concept. The idea that it would have started with the First Doctor and Susan, and they're actually robots working for the Cybermen, I loved. And then I loved when Josh shot like the 4 other TARDISes coming in. That would have just been so cool. And them like figuring it out. But then I did think during that, well, the 4th Doctor wasn't signed on, so I think the Six Doctors would have absolutely worked, but you would have needed Tom Baker there, 100%. I think they just about got away with it with the Five Doctors. But like, honestly, when Josh was selling me that, I was fully invested in the Six Doctors. I was fully there. And then you tell me you're going to push robot First Doctor off a cliff. We love stuff being thrown off a cliff. It's like a classic Doctor Who thing. Things just being launched off buildings and cliffs. Give that to me. I'm here for the First Doctor being thrown off a cliff. I don't personally think that would be disrespectful. Like, it's just part of the story. And I really love that idea though. I really, really loved that idea. I am a fan of the Two Doctors. I really liked having the Sontarans. I mean, maybe I am biased again because it was the Second Doctor and we had Jamie back, who is the love of my life, alongside Pertwee. I liked that we were in a different country. That, like, I don't know, the kind of like contradiction of like the heat and the darkness. I really enjoyed that. So it was nice that Robert had a chance to write another multi-Doctor story. So I'm glad about that. But I think it's one of those things with Doctor Who, isn't it? These like what ifs. Like, oh, what if so-and-so played? I don't know, I just saw something come up on Josh's thing about who was originally meant to play Sarah Jane. Like, all of these concepts are brilliant. Like, what if Paul McGann had more time as the 8th Doctor? All of these things is so vast in Doctor Who because there are so many alternatives that could have happened. But I would have liked to have seen the 6 Doctors. But I'm so grateful for the 5 Doctors. Like, I truly, truly am. But it's such a bizarre thing when you think of how close it could have been to being something so different. In a parallel universe, the 6 Doctors does exist somewhere out there. Oh, it's such a shame that didn't happen. But then it just wasn't meant to be, was it? Like, we were meant to have the 5 Doctors, but I would really love an audio drama of that. Like, that would be so fun. I would really, really like that. Oh, that was such a nice little... I love it when you guys give me like a Doctor Who related video to watch, just because obviously, like a classic Doctor Who video, just because obviously I'm through that journey on my own. It's just, I don't know, it's nice to sit here and chat to you guys about the classic era because it's just a flipping joy. And obviously Josh saying that still to this day, so much of the classic era is referenced and used in Doctor Who. And that's because the classic era is absolutely remarkable. It's remarkable. And I urge anyone who hasn't watched it, I personally would say just start from the beginning. Just go for it. You just got to give it time. It's Doctor Who. If you like Doctor Who now, I don't see how you can't like it then. But I'm not here to give you a sales pitch because you will have seen that era. So yeah, the 6 Doctors. What do you think? Let me know. Let me know what you think about the 5 Doctors. I feel like that time of me watching it was just a blur because I genuinely was just in such shock as to what was happening. So yeah, let me know what you think about the 5 Doctors. And thanks for watching, guys, and I hopefully will see you very, very soon.